Konnichiwa, minasan. It's Sensei with Sensei Reviews, and I may have to add a new category today. Wow, hi camera, good morning. I have a very special guest here. It's Violet. Come here, you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Come on. Okay. Recently did another Final Fantasy, so I'll do another one that not a lot of people talk about, which is kind of the opposite of the previous one I did. So anyway, here we go. Story, characters, art, music, gameplay, and an overall score. Would I recommend it to a friend? Come on, friend. She's so fussy, so let's see what she does today. All right. Final Fantasy XII. I believe was the last one. What was it? Was it PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3? It was one of those. And anyway, towards the end, I think of the PlayStation 2, the lifestyle. Am I crazy? I think so. And it was different. Even to this day, at the moment where the recording of this video, we're awaiting 16, Final Fantasy 16. 12 is a good couple of games ago. And this one was part of the tactics universe, Ivalice. And personally, my first introduction to Ivalice and kind of what's going on there. And I'm not a tactics game person. I played a game, random sidebar. I don't even remember what it was called. It was like Spirit something, and it was by the same people that did Disgaea. And I was like, okay, well, it has ghosts, so cool, like spirits and stuff, neat. I'll give it a try. And gosh, I got like a couple levels in, and in that particular game you had to, like, there's a rock or a tree or something that's on the field, and you have your ghosty friends possess them, and those are your characters that will like help you progress through the field and stuff like that. And it's a tactical RPG. And I got a little obsessive, as I do, and I'm like, I can't go to the next level. Like, I'm not ready yet. And I was really, really perseverating. And I spent forever trying to, level up a rock. And I was like, this kind of game is not for me. I can't do that. Okay, so Final Fantasy Tactics, I like the art and everything else, but I can't do tactical RPGs because I'm too OCD for it. Like, I can't function. It's not gonna work. So anyway, I was excited to get a chance to experience Ivalice and kind of the, art style and everything else. It always looked very nice. And anyway, I'll start with the story because I did play it right when it came out. I'd have to look, but I think I might even have a strategy guide for it because I was still in the, still when strategy guides were, you can buy them, but you don't, anyway, it's there for free on the internet. I think I do. I think I have a strategy guide for this particular game, and oh man, did I need it. Because this is not an easy game, which I'll get to. Alright, so story. I don't know the world of Ivalice. I don't know the mythology, and particularly the politics, because there's a whole lot of politicking. I'm fine with politics. I actually find it really interesting and good world building and stuff like that. So, I was a little overwhelmed when I first started playing the game. You start playing as Vaughn and Penelo, which, I'm sorry, they are completely useless for the entirety of the narrative. We really don't need them. But we start as them, and they're poor kids. They're orphans, aren't they? And they live in the slums of a big city called Rabanastre, I think. And it's in the kingdom? Dalmasca? Okay, anyway, I remember things. The story of this game feels like a weird mix of, like, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Like, if they got married and had a child, I feel like that's Final Fantasy XII. Because you have, like, a lot of sci-fi elements as well as, like, an evil empire, and, that felt very Star Wars. And then On the other hand, you have like the Viera, which are like the bunny ladies, and I hear that bunny boys exist, but not in this game. They're all female, and anyway, she's an archer, Fran, and yeah, she felt very Legolas, and I don't know, parts of, the nature, which is where you spend most of the game, feels very sort of Lord of the Rings. I don't know. Anyway, so you have a princess of the kingdom, and she got married. That's cool. It was an arranged marriage, and it turned out fine because they actually liked each other. I don't remember her husband's name. I'm sorry. It's gone. But he seemed like a brosif. I don't know. He was just kind of there. And anyway, there's a war with the big empire, and he gets in a battle and he dies. And she's very sad. Her name is Ashelia, or Ash for short. And let's see. So her dad was killed by a guard, and that was like Van's older brother was in the room when that happened, and he got killed. And supposedly he's killed by this guy named Bosch. Boucher. And Bosch has a twin brother, and it was his twin brother. It wasn't him. And his brother's name is Gabranth. Gabranth is one of the 9 judges. And they feel very Star Wars. They feel very like Sith Lord people. And anyway, you fight some of them throughout the game. Anyway, so we have all of our heroes, which is Vaughn and Penello, are street urchins, and then the princess, Ash, and eventually we break out Bosch from Boucher. I really want to say Boucher from now on, from prison. And we eventually run across the interesting people, which is Sky Pirates, Balthier, and Fran. So I don't really remember much past that after we kind of get our main party, because there's a lot about like, let's go find a sword. It's gonna help Ash regain her kingdom. Let's go find another sword. It's in a different dungeon. Like, let's go find. That's kind of the plot to me. Is let's go find another thing. It's in the depths of a terrible dungeon. There's like a guy, I don't know. There's a tower. Is it a prison in the middle of the ocean, and there's a tower, and we have to climb it. I don't know. And then we confront Balthier's dad. And what else happened? I don't know. I was literally just playing. I was like, I don't know what's happening anymore. And we go to like an ancient, forgotten capital, which is pretty cool. And in there, we talk to like the gods of the world, and they are like, hey Ash, you have a destiny. And she's like, okay. And yeah, we have to take down the big bad. And yeah, Vane Solidor, I don't know, Solidor is his name. He has a nice younger brother, but he's not very nice, and he's like, I want to take over the world. And he doesn't really have a very good backstory to my recollection. But anyway, the brothers kind of, the twin brothers, Gabranth and Boucher, have a fight at the end, and Gabranth dies, and Ash gets her kingdom back. Cool. Yeah, so story overall, I think is probably the weakest part of this game, honestly. I think, and I'm harsh on my JRPGs if their story is trash. I don't think the story is trash. I think the story is bland. Let me put it that way. I think it's very bland, and I really wanted there to be more of a story. So much so that I started making my own story in my head, my own little headcanon about this particular game. And it was all about shipping all the main characters. Like, this is what I did, because the main story was not fulfilling its purpose for me. So anyway, I just want to, have separate essays about like the characters and who I felt they should be with, because that's important. Because obviously what was going on was not interesting enough for me. I really liked Balthier and Ash, and I wanted them to have a relationship really bad. Because I'm sorry, like, I love Fran. Don't get me wrong. I love Fran. But Fran and Balthier is too easy. It's too easy. Anyway, story. I'm gonna go C. It's average. It's there. It does its job. But it's not terribly interesting at the end of the day. And it's certainly not, like, what I think about when I think about this game and what works and what I really like. It's certainly not the story. Okay, characters. I do think this is a good point for the game. Mostly. Okay, so I like Ash. I think she's great. I think she's neat. You know, I really liked the idea of, like, she had found her true love and then he's dead and we just, that's where we started the game. So she was mad. She was very mad. And she had reason to be mad. And, you know, she had, like, the blood of the Dynast King and swords. Lots of swords. And then the gods were like, we're going to help you. And she's like, cool. I don't know. Ash was fine. Yay. Balthier was probably the most interesting character. This was still when I could not put my game into Japanese, so I really haven't heard a lot of their Japanese voices, but I really liked the voice work that was done on the English one. And I think Balthier's voice actor did a particularly good job. He seemed very, like, sort of charismatic and stuff, and he was fun. He was fun. He called himself the main character of the game, and it's true. Like, in my mind, and I think everybody's mind who's played this game, like, Balthier's the main character. Actually, Ash is the main character, but as far as the dude main character, yeah, is Balthier. Fran is fun. I really like Fran. So she's a bunny lady, and they're called the Viera, and they usually don't go out of their forest home, and they have a book. It's where they can hear the forest. It's called the Green Word, and it's like Whispers on the Wind or something. It's cool. And then anyway, their home is basically like an elf forest, so that's why I say Lord of the Rings. Everything about Fran and the Viera feels very Lord of the Rings. But anywho, she actually has a cool ability. So there's a force in the game called the Mist, and it makes her go feral and stuff. And anyway, Fran's just fun. I like Fran. She's kind of no nonsense, and yeah, she's just better than everybody else. I appreciate that. So those are kind of, I think, the strong characters. Bosch is kind of halfway there for me. So I felt like Bosch was really forced, and I didn't buy it with him for one reason or another. So I'm not quite sure. I don't dislike Bosch, but I don't like him all the same. So let's see. And then we have the street urchins that were really not necessary to be in this game at all. Like, I think that they wrote the characters, like, you know, your Ash and everybody else, and then they were like, it's not relatable enough. We need some relatable people. So they made, you know, Vaughn and Pinello. Bleh. And, gosh, they're just trash. I don't like them. I think that Vaughn has potential to be an okay character. I have not played the sequel, which is Revenant Wings, and he actually, his big motivation in the whole game was to escape Ravenaster and become a sky pirate. And he was just being kind of a whiny brat the whole time, and he was, like, trying to prove himself to Balthier, and anyway, totally unnecessary. Just excess baggage, really. There was no purpose for him to be there. And, anyway, I think he has the potential to be tolerable, just not really in this game. And I don't know why they made him the main character. He's pretty weak. And then Pinello is just, ugh. You know, I don't solely hate her because of her bangs, but her bangs have a big part of why I think she's so gross. I don't know. There's nothing interesting about her. There's nothing interesting about Pinello. She's like, I dance when I fight. Oh, hi. Did you wake up? Hello, sweetie. Hello, Violet. She will actually talk to us. So, you gonna say hello? Meow. She didn't quite. She meows so weakly that no sound comes out. You're pathetic, but I love you. Okay, yeah, Pinello, gross. I really found her super, 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 super annoying. And, like I said, like her partner Vaughn, contributed nothing to the story. So I really felt the two of them were super out of place and totally not necessary for the plot or anything. I didn't like not, or I didn't dislike fighting with Vaughn, like using him as a playable character. I definitely used Penelo as minimally as humanly possible because she annoyed me that much. But anyway, I leveled them all up. I leveled them all equally because that's what you do. But anyway, overall for characters, I think I'm gonna go a B because I think we had some really nice standouts, but we also had some pretty obvious baggage that just didn't belong. So not quite there yet. Okay, so art. I think this is the PlayStation. I haven't played the HD remaster of this particular game, which is called Zodiac Age, but I really liked the PlayStation 2, I think, don't quote me, graphics where like their hair in particular was kind of like soft, just like on the edges, and the style of their facial features and everything, it was really kind of soft and unique looking, and I really liked that about the characters and stuff. Their outfits are very gilded. They're very complicated for no apparent reason. And it's not just the main characters, like it is very consistent like throughout all the background characters and stuff like that. And I really like the areas of this game, like all of the different places that you go. I think they were all very memorable and well designed. And the previous Final Fantasy that I played, because I don't play online games, I don't do other people. I don't do well. I don't play well with others. I play by myself. So whenever they're like, we have online features, I'm like, okay, no. All right. But yeah, so I didn't play Final Fantasy XI is the moral of that story, but you know, people criticized Final Fantasy X at the time for being very linear. Like the actual places that you could go were very linear, and so since they had done the MMORPG of 11, the areas were very open. The battle system was very different, and the areas felt really big and really, you know, just vast and massive, and you know, rife for exploration. I really liked a lot of the dungeon designs. A lot of them were creepy. Like the tower, a lot of the places in the game you actually could go in the story. You would go like up the towers like 100 levels, but you could go down too, like later on in the game, to go find something creepy. And it's the same thing with the Forgotten Capital. There's like you kind of make your way down this big spiral, and then you're going into a giant crystal, which is pretty cool. And you head from the middle downward, and it gets brighter, and that's cool. But when you head up later on, to get, I think they're espers in this game, the summons, you go up and it gets darker. And so I think a lot of the areas had a lot of storytelling, and I think that it was environmental storytelling primarily in this game. And I think that the art really spoke to that, and I really like the art in this game. And you had the return of Gilgamesh for some reason. There was like a bridge, and they're like, we need to bring back Gilgamesh. And I was like, what is this guy's deal? Yeah, anyway, haven't fully played that one. So that's Final Fantasy V, I think. But Gilgamesh, I'm aware of him because of some of the hybrid Final Fantasy games that I've played. But yeah, I think that the areas are really interesting and fun to explore, and that it has a little bit to do with the gameplay, and I'll get to that in a bit. But the art, I think, is really nice. Gosh, I don't think it's perfect, you know, but I think it's very unique to this particular game, and I think that they really nailed the art, because this is Ivalice. Like, they know Ivalice because they've been working with it through the Final Fantasy Tactics game, so it's kind of that coming through. But I think that some of the decisions they made with the character models, and like I said, the way that like hair moved was really nice and really pretty, and unique to this game. I haven't seen that anywhere else, which is really good. So I'll give it an A+ for the art, because I really like the art. It's really super nice. Okay, music. Music is different in this particular game. Man, is it different. It's so unique compared to other scores. Nobuo Uematsu is the guy that has done like all of the classic Final Fantasy scores for the most part. Um, and the last one that he worked on was Final Fantasy X, which has an amazing score. It's probably one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Um, Super connected to the game, super unique. You know, it makes me think of the game. I can't like visualize anything else when I think about that music or if I listen to that music. With this one, this was a departure. This was something that was different, and it's not a bad thing. Um, Again, I feel like everything is very atmospheric. I feel like the environments, like a bunch of these things play into the environments and the gameplay. Um, and I liked a lot of the music. It was unique. It's not my favorite soundtrack ever. I will be blunt about that, but I do like it, and I do like it when I'm playing the game. And I have pulled a bunch of the tracks from the game that I just listen to, just because I like them. So let me think. When you're in that crystal that I talked about earlier, there's a track that's really kind of off. Um, it's kind of pretty, it's kind of spooky, it's kind of mysterious. It's called To the Place of the Gods. That's a good track. There's a lot of music in this game that feels like that, where it's just like there are elements that seem pretty to it, where I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of melodic and nice, and then I'm like, but it's kind of creepy in the background. So I like the music in this game. Like I said, not the best thing ever, but for what it does, I really think it does its job. It keeps the atmosphere of the game and continues with the environmental storytelling, which I think is probably my favorite thing about this game. All right, so gameplay. This is not an easy game, folks. This is not an easy game. So I am a simple person. I just want to play my games. Oh, we're rolling. We're rolling. I've got a belly. I'm a simple person. I don't need stuff that's super complicated. Just tell me how to beat the thing and I'll beat the thing. Kind of turn-based combat. So you have this weird thing. If you've seen any gameplay of this game, you know what it is. So you're walking around as your person. There are free roaming enemies on the field. You target them, and it's like a little blue line that goes from your character to that enemy, which you can set as an automatic thing. And if an enemy spots you, it's a little red line that goes from them to you, that they've spotted you and they're targeting you. So anyway, I think this was lifted sort of from the DNA of the Final Fantasy XI, the MMORPG, and it was fine. I think it worked. I think it was fun. What I like about the gameplay is the challenge of this game. It's not terribly easy because there are things out on the field that can absolutely decimate you. With like they can one-shot you, right? You're dead. So, and I'm stupid, so I will go and attack something. Like, I remember in the first desert, when you get outside of Rabanastre, there's different weather conditions, which is also fun. And you have to literally wait for like a storm to pass or something like that. So if there's like sandstormy or whatever. So I think it's in a sandstorm actually. And you can go and there's this big like T-Rex thing. And I have like poor little Vaughn with his stupid little basic sword. I'm at level like 3. And I go up there. I'm like, I can do this. And I died, of course. But I like that. In games where and I do this in any RPG where they have like sort of free roaming enemies that are way beyond your current level. I will immediately go and engage every single time. I'm like, yes, let's go. But anyway, so I like the weather conditions in certain areas. I like the battle system. Let's see, there are certain areas you go to. So I really wanted to get all the espers. I think they're called espers in this game. Forgive me if they're not. There's 12. They're based off of the zodiac signs, and they are nothing similar to any of the summons that we're used to in Final Fantasy. They're all unique to maybe Ivalice, for sure, this game. And I rarely use them, I will say, because I tried to summon them once in battle, and when you do, it's like just one of your characters instead of the normal 3, and then you have the summon, and the summon has a life bar too. And I remember, like, I was in a jam in a particular dungeon, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna summon something. I summoned one, and it was out like doing its own thing or whatever, and I'm just running around like, ah, like, not okay. And I didn't use that again. It was me or nothing. Like, there was no bailing me out. Like, I just needed to run. Like, if I was gonna die, I just needed to run. So you have an automatic thing for your characters, the ones that you're not playing as, for them to do stuff. So again, be more offensive, be more defensive, use more magic, don't use magic, etc. And it's fun. I definitely would have to relearn it if I went back to play it. I have replayed this game maybe twice. And I did. I had to go back and sort of recall how to play. And let's see. There's a lot of places where if you go onto another floor in a dungeon, the difficulty level will spike up like really dramatically, and it's just like, well, I can't go here right now, and you have to come back later, and that's fine. You have an airship, right? You can come back later. But anyway, it's even when I was, you know, maybe leveled. Again, I'm reckless, so I go in there when I'm maybe prepared. Not when I'm for sure prepared. And it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge walking your way through. So I think that the art combined with the music, giving that atmosphere and the actual danger of me dying, you know, really contributed to that mood and that atmosphere. So they all kind of work together really nicely in that way. And like I said, I really liked a lot of the different areas that you got to play through. And finding all of those summons was a lot of fun, and usually resulted in me dying. Okay, so I have one last note on the gameplay. This was my first introduction to sort of punishingly hard bosses in a Final Fantasy. So I'd run across some before, but I felt kind of confident that I knew this game well enough that I could do stuff. So there are two things about this particular boss. I think it's Tiamat in this game, and I didn't believe it. I actually watched a YouTube video back in the day of somebody trying to take this boss down, and even with everything that you can have to go at this boss, it still takes literally over a half an hour to kill this thing. And I was like, no, it doesn't. And so I went and I played it, and I went to the boss, and I don't have all the things. I don't have all the things. I'm gonna be straight with y'all. Don't have all the things. And it still took me like 25 minutes or so, and I was like, wow, because I set a timer, and I was like, this is crazy. And then it one-shotted me once it got to the next stage, and I was like, all right. I have not beaten that boss, for the record. And the interesting thing is, this is not new to Final Fantasy, but rare drop rates are also part of the gameplay here, and rare drop rates are ridiculous in this game. So you needed a spear. I remember this. You needed a spear, a particular spear, to be able to, you know, really go at the Tiamat boss and be able to stand a chance. And you have to, like, go find this one enemy, and I don't know. It's not a terrible drop rate, you know, something like 40 or 30%, but you need, like, I don't know, something ridiculous, 20 or something of that particular item to be able to make this weapon. And there is a really super, is it a ribbon? I think it's a ribbon. It's like very early on in the story. It's an invisible chest on a ship, like an airship that's transporting you. So it's like, it's story based. You can only do it like during this part of the story. And it has like a 1% chance of being this particular item, like the ribbon or whatever it was. And I was just like, wow, okay, that seems like such a Final Fantasy XII thing to do. And it's true. So the gameplay is a challenge. I like the gameplay. I have considered getting Zodiac Age, the redo of this game, just because I like the gameplay. I think it's a challenge. I think it's fun. And I think that the areas are so atmospheric, you know, and kind of creepy going around, and I really liked that about the gameplay. So I'm going to give the gameplay a solid A. I think it's really good. I think it's really good. It's solid. It's really, really good. It was a fun challenge. My only wish is that the story were stronger to support the gameplay and all the great art and music and world building. Ivalice, you could have done better. Okay, anyway, so here's our scoreboard. Kind of in between the A's and the B's, but the story is definitely in the C category for me. I really can't boost that up at all. So let's see. Overall score. I want to add like a different section to my channel that's just like meh. So I feel like this one's a meh. It's a meh game. I don't know. The story really drags it down for me, and a lot of the characters do because they're just painful. Like, this is really painful for me. I'm gonna go B-, I think. It's gonna be my final B-. It's a meh. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I think it's good for the right person. You know, I think that the right people could really enjoy this game. And I think you gotta have the personality for it. It's a slog. It's a really long game. It's a lot of getting through areas. Because it's not easy. So, and getting all the things, like, I got all the things with Final Fantasy X, and I was like, I'm gonna get all the things with this game, and then I quickly realized that that was an unattainable goal for me. I was like, this is too much. This is too much. I know with the Zodiac Age, there's extra hard boss fights. Like, I don't remember how many judges there are. Let's just say there's 7 for the sake of argument. And you have to fight, like, Gabranth at the end and Vayne and stuff. But there's an option where you can fight, like, all of them at once. And I'm just like, no. But anyway, I would not mind going back to this game. I do like this game. I don't think it's the strongest entry, but especially for somebody like me who is never going to play Final Fantasy Tactics, sorry Ramsa and company, this was a welcome addition for me, and really it remains a very unique entry in the mainline series, and I'm happy that they did it. I'm happy that they did it. I think that I could go back and I could definitely appreciate the game a lot more, but like, I could probably dig a little bit deeper into the politics and the story and stuff like that, and I don't know, maybe. But a quick tour of my favorite areas. There's a, what is it? Oh gosh, I don't actually remember what it's called. Is it the Forgotten Capital? The Forgotten Capital? It's the place that's like caves that are like on the trees and stuff. And it's like all distorted looking and lots of dangerous stuff in there. Killed me many, many times. Like, it's a lot of running in that area, but that place was really cool. I liked the Feywood. The Feywood was a lot of fun with the evil little tomatoes. Super cute and terrifying. Like I said, the I think it is the Ancient Capital or something. The Forgotten Capital? No, that's... Anyway, it's the place where the crystal is. That place is cool. I like that place. Super fun. And I really liked, like, going down. You could see the crystal, and then you go inside of it. It's super neat. The place where you get the wind summon, it's got, like, sand waterfalls and stuff, and then you go into, like, the underbelly areas, and it's all difficult. That place is cool. Anyway, I think those are my standout places. There's, like, the snow place. I don't remember what that was, but the music's nice there. Music's very nice. So, anyway, things to look forward to if you've never played that game. Don't play it for the story. The tower's cool, too. The tower's fun. And, Balthier's dad's funny. He's definitely got a dad bod. Poor Balthier. He's like, I understand why you ran away, bro. I understand. And anyway, it was fun. It was a fun game. It's not the best game, but it's a fun game. Violet is totally belly up right now. Belly up. Anyway, so thank you for listening. I hope you had fun. It's been Sensei with Sensei Reviews, and I'm going to put meh on this video. I generally like it, but it's kind of meh. Final Fantasy 12. Anyway, I did one Final Fantasy, so I had to do another one. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody, and I will see you next time. Sayonara!